Back at it with another video today. And today we're talking about, is going professional overseas playing basketball worth it? Is playing basketball overseas worth it? Let's talk about it. Well, first thing you gotta realize is this is gonna be different than anything you've ever experienced in your life. Hands down. You have to know what you want. Is this a path that I'm willing to take? Because it's extremely difficult. Especially in starting out from the beginning. Like, if you're not just right below big time school, coming out of a big time school, if that's not one of them, if you don't come from a big time school off the jump, college, I'm talking Florida, Kentucky, big SEC schools, big high major D1 schools, starting your journey overseas is gonna be a little rough. It's gonna be a little rough, and you're gonna have to wonder if this is what you really want, because it's gonna test you. It's gonna test you to see if you really want it. You're not just gonna be here thinking like, oh, this is all fun and games. I get to go have a lot of fun and games when I go play. No, this is a job. This is a job, and a very difficult one, because at any given time, one slip up, it's over with for you. One bad game, one argument with a teammate, you got to be willing to know, like, okay, am I ready to join a job or pursue a career in something where I'm very expendable? Season starts in August, September, kind of like the regular school year. So you got that season going on, right? You got your season going on, starts around August, September, and you get cut in October. If you get cut in October, and you've been planning on, okay, my season was supposed to be 6-7 months, that was my job for the time. What are you gonna do in that time? Because once that period starts where everybody's starting, they got their team, they have all their players together, you're pretty much left waiting till either the Christmas break, which is another 2-3 months, or right around playoffs, which is like the last 2 months of a season. So it's 6 months down the road, 7 months down the road, and you don't got a job, and then you already got on your resume that you've been sent home, and you're new coming out. So you got to wonder, is that worth it? Is that worth it, being out of a job? So, okay, you don't have that. What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? Am I going to go get a regular job? Am I going to go just decide to, like, get a corporate job, become a regular worker in the meantime? What am I going to do in the meantime? You have to make up in your mind first. Is it worth it? Is it worth the pain and the struggle every single day of not knowing? You have to accept that fact of not knowing. Hey man, I could be playing my best game. I could have everything going for me in the right direction, and still I can lose my job at any given time, because it's very expendable. Like, they will get you out of there in a heartbeat. They will get rid of you in a heartbeat. You have to ask yourself, is that worth it? What is the reason that I want to play basketball? I love the game. I love the sport. It means so much to me. I've been thinking about this my whole life. Yeah, you can be thinking about it, but the steps that it takes to actually have a career, a long career, a successful career, is not just peaches and cream, I would say. I wouldn't say peaches and cream, but you know what I mean. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth me getting up every single day and not being able to communicate with my teammates? If communication and talking, and you need that kind of friendship that you need with someone else, like someone that I need to. Like, I don't like being alone. I don't like being by myself all the time. I like to mingle with like my teammates and people like that. Be ready to not be always be on point with your teammates or your coaches, because every situation isn't like that. And this ain't like Walmart where they're gonna keep you there and they're just gonna ride you and put you. No, you're gonna go home. They will let you go and have another person waiting for you in a matter of 0.2 seconds. Is that worth it? You gotta ask. You have to be real with yourself. Is that worth it? Is being able to say, you know what, at any point in time, somebody's gonna replace me, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving everything I have, playing my hardest, not getting good treatment, not being paid on time at times, not knowing what they're even talking about. Don't know if they're talking about you, don't know if they're talking about any situation like that pertains to you, because you don't understand the language and you don't understand what they're talking about. Are you ready for that? You have to be ready for these things. These are some of the things that you have to be ready for, because that's the life. That's the life of overseas basketball. It is cutthroat. For the top tier guys, they move at a different speed. And even them, it's a rough, like, I play with guys, I know guys that just go through it. I see it myself. It's not just a show. Like, it's not just a show. Like, I just show up and everything is good and everybody loves me and the team loves me. It's not like that. It's not like that. And you have to be prepared for that, because if you go into the league, any league that you go into, you got to be ready for them to let you go. I have to come here and play as hard as I can and do everything I can to get better and become the best player I can be. And the next day they might say, you know what? You missed too many free throws. It's time for you to go home. We don't need you here. We're sorry. I don't care if you bring your family. I don't care if you bring your friends. I don't care what your situation at home is. It doesn't matter to us, because you're expendable. We don't need you right now. We do not need you. What we need is the next player. And we're going to see how good he does. And if he does good enough, then we'll keep him. But if not, we got to let him go too. So you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? Because your pride is going to be tested. You can't be prideful. You can't just be like, I was this great player in college and I'm this and that. Hey, that don't matter no more. None of that matters no more. Because you're in the real world now. Like, overseas basketball is the real world. And like, they live by different standards, especially from us coming from like America. We have a different standard and a different thought process of what the game is like and what we think. And so sometimes like some players come in believing that they're just a lot better than the average player, which they are. Most of these Europe, like local players in different countries, most of them are not on the level that you're going to be. That's just natural. They're not going to be on the level that you're going to be on. But you don't live it. You're not living in America anymore. You're not living to that standard anymore. You're living to a whole different standard. You're living with a whole different culture of people. So, not knowing the language, bad food that you're not used to, and trust me, there's some foods that you're not going to be used to that you're going to be like, how do people even eat this? How do people even eat this type of food? But that's going to be your life. That's going to be your life now for like 7 months. That's an average season. In 7 months, 7 to 8 months. Are you willing to eat something completely different that you've never ate before? Because you got to eat. You have to eat to stay in tune, to stay in shape, to stay ready for whatever comes next, because you're playing a sport that requires a lot from you. So you got to fuel yourself with the right nutrition and the right things in that nature. But can you handle that? Can you handle not eating the things that you're not used to? Because you're going to need the nutrition. Is that worth it? Is that worth going 10 months out of the season? I believe I watched one YouTube video before, and the guy was talking about his experience and the pay. The pay is one of the biggest things. You're going there for a job. Do you know what the average salary is? Okay, scenario. You get out of college, you come from a mid-major, low D1. What do you expect that your first contract would be like? Your first paying contract, what do you believe that's going to be like? It's going to be very, very low. I'm going to let you know right now off the rip. It's going to be very low. If you do not have a good agent, or someone that knows a good agent in a certain field, you're talking about less than a stack, less than $1,000, sometimes $1,100. You're pretty much looking like at an average Dollar Tree, not even Walmart, Dollar General salary for 7 to 8 months, and not eating certain foods. If you get lucky and go to a good country, then God bless you. But not the salary extremely low. I've heard of guys making money between $800 a month, $700 to $800 a month. I don't want to really get into salary too much. But if you got to ask yourself, is that worth it, getting that amount of money for 7 to 8 months? When you know you can just go over here to any corporate job and make that money like 2-3 times that, 4 or 5 times that. But this is the life. This is the real life. This is for the normal 95% of players coming out. These are the things that you have to go through. Everybody knows that one player that's like extremely big, and he's doing his thing, and he's doing real well in his career, and he's big time, and he went to a big school. That's not the average player. That's not the average athlete. That's not the average D2 player that's coming out that has to grind his way up to the top. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Can you make a big name for yourself and push to another level and really grow your career? Yes, you can. You absolutely can. Anything that you want, you can achieve it if you put the work in. You do your research. I feel like that's something big that we don't understand. If you're not doing your research about the game, not just the physical basketball game, but actually the game of basketball when it pertains to overseas, the coaches, the agents, the leagues. Those are the things that you have to start noticing. Oh, I got a job here in this country. I'm going to just take it. Well, how about doing some research in that country to know what are the normal players? If they play well, where do they go after this? Does this help them get to somewhere else? Does this help them with their career long term, or does this just help them for the short term? Do people grow from here? Do they actually go to another league from here, or is it just a downfall? These are certain things that you have to do. You literally have to do your own research on finding out these type of situations, because the average player goes through a lot. Goes through a lot just to even be, not even just be good in this game, just to survive a year or two. And you want to play this game, you got to ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice all these things? And are all these things even worth my time, my effort, just because I say I want to play the game and I love the game? Do you really love it? Really, you have to really ask yourself, am I willing to sacrifice all these things to have a career in this life? Because it's cutthroat. Cutthroat. It is absolutely cutthroat. So these are things that you have to find out for yourself. You have to make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? That's all I got for you guys today, man. With the early morning, just the early morning thoughts on overseas basketball. You have to prepare yourself. You have to prepare your mind to go through these situations. These are just a few situations of just the natural life, the natural career of an average player. Of the average player. These are the things that you have to ask yourself if you want to actually be in this game, because it's a game. I ain't talking about on the court. It's a game. It's overseas life. It's definitely a game. And if you don't know how to play it well, you gotta make sure that you're really putting your best foot forward when you go into this, because if not, it's gonna be very, very, very difficult for you.